What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Progressive Thought Podcast. I'm your host, Casey.
I'm Mickey.
What's good, everybody? I'm ISO, owner of Kickstander USA. Man, so team, societal events. How y'all feel about everything been going on with Black Lives Matter? How the black people been represented? Also the minority, how we been represented?
Man, I think I don't even know if it's like protesting anymore now, man. I just feel like the movement's kind of been hijacked, and then people are just doing shit, saying this for Black Lives Matter. Like damn, what city was that in? It's a Fort. No, it's New York. So what they said was that protesters won't be arrested. So you have people just, hey, I'm part of the Black Lives Matters movement. You can't arrest me. So it's like, okay. So, they're not charging people if you say that you're protesting. So that's a big thing to me. I think, like the movement isn't about George Floyd or just Black Lives in general anymore. It's just so many different like sectors in it now. It's like a game. And like
No,
people
it is
just,
though.
like it's our turn to join in. So let me
Mhm.
say what I gotta say or do what I gotta do.
Right.
And then post it on Twitter. You get 300,000 retweets, and then everybody thinks that that's real life. What's happening?
I get you.
I said it's honestly like people are trying to play a game of GTA in a sense if they're not educated also. Because some people
Right.
thought I was crazy saying that. But honestly, like once we surpassed like George Floyd's, the police officers that killed him and actually are charged, everyone was just like, forget that, forget that. And after the protests, like people just went ahead and just started breaking into places. Like the
Yeah.
entire downtown of Chicago is boarded up.
Nah, all of that was mostly done before the officers were charged. And the reason they did that is because too long have black people just been kind of like easily satisfied, or they tried to easily satisfy us with small, justices. And that would be what just charging Derek Chauvin, or whatever the fuck his name is, and everybody else involved. That'd just be a short win, a small victory into the war. They're just casualties. I mean, every year it's, police go out and they go kill an innocent black or another minority on camera, and they watch the camera with no remorse and no nothing. They don't care about going to jail because they know they still get to do what they're doing overall. Them small people go get arrested, it's nothing. We do need change for the entire police unit. It need to be stricter laws, more enforcement on any police brutality level. We shouldn't wait till a person is killed by police. Police need to be charged for any accusation of an assault proven to be true on an innocent, bystander civilian. Unless that person is waving a threat to that officer's life, they shouldn't put their hands on a citizen. They're servants to us. They should be trained to protect themselves. They're supposed to neutralize, not do what they do.
Right. We know many of them out here, though. Like, there are cops, as we know, that come from being in the army and everything. So their mind already is twisted to these ways that, like, we do not agree with. And also, I was going to get to, like, the same thing you said. But when these protests started to turn into riots, remember, like, a lot of people were stating and even had recordings that it was people that were mostly white that were breaking into these places.
A lot of young
Yeah.
white people, to
Yeah, a
be
lot of
exact.
young white people breaking into these places. And once they broke in, then just everyone went with it at the end of the day and jumped at the chance of jumping in there and grabbing what they could.
But let's not be wrong. It was some videos surfacing on Instagram. There was some niggas, like two or
Yeah.
three, hitting a couple of these black-owned stores in Chicago.
You should've
Yeah,
saw
we seen the
Calumet City.
videos.
You see Calumet City?
Nah, I didn't.
No.
Bro.
Oh, I
that-
did see some of the videos.
I
Though.
didn't see
That shit was crazy when I saw it. Bro.
Yeah.
It was like they were destroying Big Lots, bro.
Yeah, it was. I don't know if y'all follow Joe Fresh Goods, local brand, great guy.
Yeah.
He put up a video. There was, I think, one or two dudes walking out of the front door of his store, had smashed the glass with a brick and was walking out with boxes and merchandise. You ain't doing that for George Floyd.
Not at all. And
That
that's
shit ain't
the
right.
thing, like that's why we're saying like it's kind of going off the map of the whole point of the protest. Now it's just being greedy on a lot of people's senses. Like a lot of people are just being plain greedy and just taking all this stuff, but not even from who we're mad at, from your own communities.
Yep. And I want to bring another point. Sorry to interrupt, Casey. I want to bring another point somebody brought to me. A good friend of mine, he basically was saying, you know, he was out there in some of it, and he said he witnessed that some of these people destroying these places were out-of-towners. So to the excuse that some of these black-owned businesses that were destroyed by black people, they were out-of-towners and they didn't know it was black-owned. I personally feel that still don't make it okay, you know. If you from another town, don't come into a town, especially if you don't know nothing about who owned the store. If you're trying to prove a point, go out the primarily owned white stores that you know, some shit that look white, some shit that sound white. But if you might think a black person might own it, or if you just looting shit, try to find somebody from the community, another black person, ask them like, yo, you know, is this dope? Can we? Because y'all just was running in shit and
right, but
that
also
shit wasn't cool.
Some didn't care because there was a black-owned liquor store in my neighborhood that they put up huge banners
that said black owned.
That said black owned, and they still broke into it.
Bro, it's opportunists, bro.
Right.
Like they don't care.
Yeah, that's
just
what,
like
my homie used that same word when he was explaining it too. Opportunist. That's
like,
the same thing he called it.
If you're not gonna get in trouble for it, like these people aren't gonna get in trouble. Like maybe
they gonna get in trouble.
Like maybe if you stole like iPhones and shit because they can track
and Gucci bags.
But like, I think they sacked the Nike factory in South Chicago.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Every Nike.
No, wait. I don't think they could have.
They definitely got the downtown Nike, and that's why I'm saying like some people definitely get caught because the videos that people have put up of people stealing this stuff, a lot of y'all did not have masks on. What is wrong with y'all? A lot of y'all literally did not have masks on, a hood on, nothing. Y'all just went in full-fledged free, came out cheesing.
Bro, nobody cares, bro. The coronavirus seems like it just existed. Just just non-existent anymore.
And it popped right back up.
Everybody forgot about that. Did y'all hear it was like a spike in cases after all that rioting and shit?
Yeah.
But low-key, when I think about that, when they say that, I'm like, how do they test them, though? Like, because I think it takes like 2 weeks to test.
It takes 2 weeks for sure.
So I'm like.
But what that means is prior to all of the rioting, people had already been sick. You know.
I mean, then it's not even related to the protests.
No, it's not, for sure. Those statistics wouldn't have came out until maybe another 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, bro, that shit bullshit.
And then they still have to test all those people like you said, which they're probably not going to go get tested because
they don't believe they got it.
And I mean, that'll just show you was out there stealing shit.
Now.
Yeah.
Weren't you on camera?
Yeah.
Can't test you.
That'd be telling you they testing you.
I swear. But then, okay, so let's also go to like, what do you guys think about the whole, what are they called? The Latin Kings and on Cicero that we kept hearing about. Like,
all right. Yeah, I do want to touch on that because I don't want nobody to get it twisted. For all of those black people who did want to fight with them and, you know, start that race war and that gang war, they were only protecting their land, you know. People broke in their stores, too, and it was black faces that broke in their stores. Yeah, it was Hispanics, too, but I get it. It isn't right for them to retaliate, but on the same sense, they're only doing what the whole protest was doing for George Floyd. Y'all don't have a focus on who y'all are attacking. So why should they have why should they be blamed for not having a focus on who they're attacking because of what happened to them? It's literally the same thing. So y'all can't be mad at them for defending their land. Y'all gotta respect that, and y'all shouldn't have destroyed their shit. Real talk. They're a minority just like y'all. And no, a lot of them didn't have insurance. So they took matters into their own hand. Their gang came together and was protecting their community. Like our gang should be doing. Y'all should be bonding together and protecting the community against the police. And not backdooring on each other. Fuck you talking about? R.I.P. my homie.
That's what, bro. Like, I see so many celebrities like agreeing with the rioting. Like, yeah, man, it's okay. It's fine. It's like, bro, y'all don't even live in these communities.
Right, y'all are up high in the hills.
Like, y'all are millionaires. Y'all set.
One thing I did see though, a lot of the celebrities and business owners that were affected,
Yeah.
they still supported the rioting and protesting.
I mean,
so I
'cause they
will say
got it.
that not because they got it, just because what it's for, they get it. Not they got it, they get it. They understand, that material shit can be replaced. Yes, some were hurt. It does hurt. But they understand if it's for a solution, I understand, and that's the only thing. That's why they said they stood by them.
But see, I don't understand how destroying private businesses affect a police force that's public. Like it's paid for by public taxes.
I'm gonna tell you the
I
monopolizing
kind of
idea
agree.
behind it. I'm gonna tell you.
I
Look,
kind of agree though.
listen.
but
I'm gonna tell you. The reason they destroy the businesses is because the government is who controls the police. They don't care about a business, but when an entire community is destroyed, now their business is affected. That's why they had to destroy everything in order to get the government's attention.
Not
And
only
what did it do?
that-
The state of Charlotte, or not Charlotte, Minneapolis, Minnesota, whatever you want to say, they filed charges against the police. You see, it got a result. That wouldn't have happened without the rioting. I'm gonna be honest. That wouldn't have happened without the rioting. Not as fast as it did. They brought charges against the entire police force, not the police officers, the entire police force. That was direct cause from that rioting. That wouldn't have happened without it. You can be honest.
But here's the thing. Like, who's going to rebuild that community? Now these people that looted that shit, and like you said, there's a bunch of out-of-towners, so they're gone. So now the people who live there that had businesses there, now they got to rebuild everything. Like, the property value is going to go down. Who wants to live there now? And it's basically like Detroit, when they had the riots in Detroit. Detroit still shit. East St. Louis, they had riots in there. Looks like shit. Because people don't want to rebuild it. They're like, nobody wants to move there to want to rebuild anything. And then people move away. Like a bunch of people are moving from Minneapolis.
And then
like
it's
they're
going to
gone.
be easier to sell.
But they're
and
not
then
moving
gonna
from
go right
Minneapolis
in.
because of the destruction. They're
No,
moving
they're
because
moving because of the
I mean, that's
destruction, bro.
part, but I mean, if it's blatantly open that your entire police force is racist, would you stay? No matter the destruction or not, if the motherfucker looked like paradise, if you knew the entire police force was racist, would you literally raise a family there? Be honest. Would you raise a family in a community where you know the entire police force is openly racist? Y'all answer that.
I would say no, but at the same time, I would say, how often are we pulled over by the police?
If you're in an openly racist community, Casey, it's not about being pulled over. It's about what happens when you are pulled over.
And
If
you
the
don't even
chances
have to
are,
be pulled over.
when you're pulled over, something is happening more than likely than it's not. It don't matter how often you get pulled over in a community. Honestly, bro, I'll be honest with you. And in an openly racist community, if I had to, play numbers, I would say they got, minorities get pulled over quite often. You feel me? It's an openly racist community. It's not for them, which is why they left. The destruction isn't good, don't get me wrong. But it's up to the people to, rebuild their communities.
No, but
just
most
like
people
we
are
have
leaving
to.
our white people, though. Most people are leaving our wealthy white people who have money in the community that helps the community. They just left.
Fuck them.
Literally.
And now people are going to be looking like, okay, well, who's going to help me rebuild? Now I got to rely on somebody that might not even want to help me.
They should rely on the community, and that's all I'm saying, bro. I was gonna get back to that.
But if the
Ain't no
community
white
has
people
no
in
money,
Harvey.
how can you build it up if it has no money?
You got to build up that wealth. It's wealth generators. They have to create those. That's on them to do. I mean, you have to start those. Once
Again,
a business leaves opportunity.
I wouldn't even say that. There are a lot of people in all our communities, especially like in a minority community, that do odd jobs to build back up their own community. It's just like Isaac said, like, you have to have people that actually want to be a part of that community and help each other to fix that back up. Yeah, of course, like, I'm pissed and everybody else is going to be pissed that some people are in our community or we all just destroyed all this shit, but we did it in a sense in their minds because I'm 50-50 about it for a good reason. But also I want to go back to, like, with the government and stating, like, they're not going to help and clean up, or like they're in control of the police and everything. Not only that, but they're in control of the media. So of course they're gonna show like, oh, look at what they did to their own communities, look at what they're doing in the streets and everything. And that's why us on social media are showing all the totally different sides that news does not want to show, because the entire time that this was going on, LA, Detroit, New York, all of them are being broadcasted on ABC7, and just all they were showing was all that rioting. The whole time, they did not show any of that protesting stuff. They showed the entire time rioting because that's all they care to show, to make the people, like the white people, like you stated, in a sense, fearful, because that's what a lot of media wants to do, especially when it comes to the government. They want you to be fearful of what's going on. So with those white people, they're like, oh yeah, you better leave because look at all these crazy black and brown people attacking and destroying their own neighborhoods. They're going to come after you next, type of shit.
Yeah, but I see a lot too of that like CNN and MSNBC, like they support it. Like they support the rioting. They're bailing out protesters even if they haven't rioting. Like people who have been arrested for like looting and stuff, they're paying their bail. Like celebrities, Seth Rogen, Steve Carell.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Like if you want to bail out the protesters, 100% agree with you, get them out. But if they're in jail for looting, and you're gonna bail them out because you think that that's the right thing to do, I don't agree with it.
Like, I think it's also, though, like, not 100% anybody knows, because there was so many people out there of who was looting and who wasn't, only if we see the videos like we do on social media. But at the time when they're paying their bails, they're not seeing what's the difference there. They're just seeing, okay, they must have been out there rioting, out there protesting still while all this was going on.
Yeah, because like they're virtue signaling. The whole thing is you want to be on the right side of history.
Right.
So if this is what you see all the time in the media saying this, you need to do this, you need to do this, I'm like, okay. Instead of me trying to hurt my business, let me join in. Even if they don't believe it themselves, they don't want to lose their bottom line, lose money.
Now,
Wait. I got a question on what you just said. So, about being on the right side of history and hurting the business. So you, just to clarify, did you say in order, to be viewed correct in society, in history's, viewpoint, people had to kind of like just be casualties of war versus the reality in your eyes, it's smarter to protect your business and do what?
Like, what do you mean? Like, I'm saying, like, in the sense that the whole movement is Black Lives Matter.
Mm-hmm.
Like, say if you like, I don't agree with that, you're racist. 100%. Like, you can have a factual argument, bringing up statistics, you're racist, no matter what.
okay.
Like, if you're white, if you're like, I agree with the protests, but I don't agree with the looting, you're racist. Or if you're black, you're like, I agree with the protesting, you're looting, you're a coon. That's the thing when I mean being on the right side of history.
That's what I was. Yeah, that's what I was getting at.
Yeah,
That's what I was getting
like,
at.
the whole thing is to push this agenda. So if you're not with them, you're against them.
Yeah,
There's
it's
no
about
middle
being
ground.
a follower.
Yeah, exactly.
It's about
Here's
being
my
a
thing, though,
follower.
bro, and this is what I have an issue with. I understand what you're saying, and I thought about what you're saying. However, if you're not out there rioting or protesting, what are you doing for change?
You can sign petitions.
That's a lot out there. There's petitions. There's paying for people's bails because there's hella like foundations and funds to pay people's bailouts. There's writing letters to Congress.
But you don't want anybody rioting, so there shouldn't be you paying anybody bail. I'm saying
it's already happened.
What solutions to what the rioting is trying to get a solution to? That's what I'm asking y'all. If you don't want to riot, how do you still get Derek Chauvin and the rest of them weak-ass cops charged, and then how do you get laws changed without rioting? And no, I'm not saying it's the answer. I'm asking y'all some serious questions to really see what y'all think.
I mean, but they were still protesting, though. Like, most of the movement is protesting
and
not
rioting. Do you
think
the protesting is still getting the solution?
I think so.
I think it's getting there, but I think also, like I said before we started recording, like, this is a lot of repetitive history. So, like, a lot of people have posted a lot about that too. Like, hey, there was riots for 67 days or something after King had died, and they passed the laws, and then the same with the boycotting for the buses. After boycotting for, I honestly don't remember how many days, but after boycotting for over, I believe, 30 days, they got that rule or whatever revoked. So it's just about like moving forward with the progress. And we also saw like they did also destroy and at the same, like with the same civil rights.
We
we're
still
going
need
through
a
right
different
now.
approach, though.
We do need a different approach, but I feel like a lot of people are trying to, or not even trying to, but just incidentally repeating history because we know in the past that it has worked. And I feel like through that, people are also going to figure out another way to add on to it to actually fix the problem.
When?
I don't know when, because I am not a psychic. But
Do you foresee change to come in the near future of like the way
don't.
they'll change things?
I honestly don't think the near future, but it's
If
the
you had
fact
to put a
that
guess on it, could you?
if I could put a guess on it, not even a guess, if I could just hope for a moment that it would probably be maybe in like 5 years at the latest, because like I said, it's just repetitive history. And even though I'm not saying this is not changeable, I'm just saying it's something that our family members, from ones that are alive to the ones that are dead, have dealt with the same exact thing. And it's just something that we just go through. And either way, like I feel like it helps the community. Even though our community still in a sense attacks each other, it still helps the community and to realize like we're still one together at the end of the day. And at the end of the day, you're going to do what you need to do, like you said, and like you said, to protect yourself and your family and whoever you care and love for, or whatever you care and love for.
I still feel we still need some type of leadership following all of this. If we want real change and progressive change, because the average person is going to say like they want, the average person is going to say they want things to go back to normal after the riot stops. But the truth of the matter is there is no normal. I talked to my family about this. There is no normal. What we lived in wasn't normal. Black people get accused on a daily. And that's what the average black person, forgets, that police brutality and racism is an active thing every day in this country. And you don't think about it until you experience it directly. When you see it on TV, you might won't change, but it's still not like you and your family going through it. It's one of your loved ones that gets killed, and you can't do anything about it. And then you watch the person that do it go sit in jail for a year, or don't even do any time, and you can't do anything about it. They get a paid leave. Then, yeah, you're going to want change after that. Every day you're going to want change. Every day it's not going to be the same. And that's what I'm saying. That's what we got to think about. It don't just stop at none of those police officers. It don't just stop at this event. We need an overall change, but we need progressive change. It's not going to come in one sitting. It's not going to come in one serving. We need somebody to really represent us and somebody to really discuss what we want done. We don't want revenge. No, that ain't it. We need generational wealth. We need life insurance for all black people. We need free health care. We need free schooling. We built this country. We need
I want
it.
that life insurance.
All right. And on that note, we're going to go to commercial break. Welcome back. And for our next topic on the Progressive Thought Podcast, we're going to talk about black representation and entertainment.
Okay, so how I want to just start and ask you guys, like, how do you feel black people are portrayed today compared to, let's say, like the 1970s, on how, just like I said, how they're portrayed? And this
And
is
you're
in
talking about
television.
I was about to say you're talking
or
about in television,
movies.
movies, things like that. Well, versus back in the day, I feel like I feel like back in the day, black people didn't have too many, main roles. Like, don't get me wrong, we had some, yes, but if it wasn't a primarily black movie, we were portrayed probably as like either an aggressor, sometimes uneducated, because we're talking like 70s, right? Yeah, back then we really weren't, portrayed the best in the best light in movies. Larger families, things of that nature. Probably all staying in the same house. So
Yeah, I mean, what I see now is just I see black people just being funny, just a comedy tool, and then it's either it's about comedy or it's about race. Like it's not like how do I say it? Like it always has to involve something funny or it has to be something that has to do with race. Like it's nothing like outside of that. It's like, oh, I'm black this, I'm black this. It's all about being black and not just, about being a show or a movie or things like that. That's kind of like, it's kind of a pet peeve to me because, like, I would rather us have a good show. Like, everything doesn't have to be about race. It makes it so cliche. Like, when I see a lot of black shows, because race is always in, it's
Can you
always
name some?
Huh?
Can you name some?
Black as fuck. What's that? Blackish.
he went right through it.
What's that new show? Mixtures or whatever?
Mixed Dish. I like that show.
Mixtures.
I like all these shows, actually.
What's that?
And this is all by the same creator, by the way. All those shows that you're naming is all by the same creator.
Yeah, it's funny you say that.
Yeah.
No, and what's that show when they were in college?
That's Grownish again, same creator. That's just his theme, okay? That's just his theme.
But it's like it's like watching a Tyler Perry movie. Like each one, it's the same movie. It's like, bro, we get it. Angry, dark skinned dude. Medea's funny, comedic relief, and then fucked up marriage or a family.
Yeah, I get you though, because it does like kind of make a joke out of a lot of regular situations in the black community, but at the same time, with Tyler Perry and with I'm sorry, but I really can't remember the creator's name of Blackish. But like with both of them, that's their revenue because they know that they have a set consumer. Yeah. And that people that connect to that want to see that. Or they want to feel that connection. Even though I completely agree with you, because a lot of Tyler Perry movies like went too far. I still don't know the one where he threw the kids out the window. I don't know what it's called, but to this day, I don't want to watch that movie.
Man, what was I? But like, it's just everything is so predictable. Like, we don't see like any blacks.
Kenya Barris, that's his name.
What?
Kenya Barris, that's
there
his
we
name.
go.
I had to find it because you was in here bashing him. I had to, if you do come across this Kenya, I know you are a big person. Casey was over here, saying your shows are.
But I love them.
What is the word, Casey? What you want to use?
Your shows are cliche.
That's what she said. I didn't get that.
She said she didn't get it, but yeah, no.
I feel like the same stuff, bro. It's repetitive.
I feel like one thing I've been seeing a lot in like black movies, black shows, it's always this oblivious white person, and it's always a black person got to treat them on like what they shouldn't be doing or saying. Like, yeah, we get it. I mean, shit. I just feel like.
Are y'all trying to connect that with Black as Fuck and that dude? His little
I just feel like it's in a lot of stuff. Like I feel like it's a lot of stuff that does that where it's like. Yeah. It's an oblivious white person, and they're like,
you gotta educate them.
Yeah, and but they gotta like treat them at the same time. Yeah. And it's like, I get it. I mean, we do it a lot, but shit, I don't know. I guess I'm tired of seeing it in shows and TVs. Like, let's get like a regular black TV show or something where white people ain't included with their ignorance. Fuck them. Let's just.
I mean, we do. I mean, some shows like we have How to Get Away with Murder, and honestly, that's a predominantly black show.
That's true, but
that's also a show I kind of feel like, and that's also like going into portraying black people in television and in movies is color blindness.
What do you mean by that?
So basically, the color blindness is where you kind of mix in a diversity in a television show, but you kind of like ignore the fact that they are of color. So there's like shows like, I mean, for example, I kind of want to say that 70s show with, what's his name?
What about it?
With the
What about it?
Hispanic dude.
with the Hispanic dude, and he's the only one there.
I mean,
but they
but
still treat him like he's completely the same.
no,
most
they
of the
didn't.
time.
I don't know if you watched.
I did, but
that
like they
70s show
definitely
for
did
real, for
throw
real?
shade at him. But
Fuck
like,
throwing shade. They was openly racist in that show. Like that 70s show was from a different time.
yeah.
If
that
you go back,
70s.
I watched, and the reason I say this is because I don't know if y'all, like elevated music, that thing you have in the background. I got TV, like elevated TV, where basically I just put on a little TV show when I go to sleep, just have some shit going on in the background, and that's that 70s show for me. And sometimes I just listen to what they say, and that dad was racist as fuck. To
Dad was
what was his
definitely
name?
racist.
What was his name?
This is
Fez,
the day
right?
for
Fez, right?
Yes.
But if it took place in the 70s, he had to be born in like the 1930s.
No,
so-
I get it.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
just speaking to her point. They was racist
yeah,
as
they
fuck
were
in that
they were
show.
racist, so I take that back. But there's definitely other shows besides that kind of like mesh in black people, brown people, and kind of like just hide over the fact or not speak about the fact that they're black.
Yeah.
Even depending on like maybe during the time that they're doing it. There's another one where it was American Horror Story. This latest season of American Horror Story, they did a horror season that was called 1942. So it's still around that day and age. And it actually took place in LA. So during this time, like, people kind of were able to mesh, but not too much. And they also kind of like just color blinded the whole thing, like, or just whitewashed the whole. I'm not even gonna say whitewash, but they just color blinded the whole thing. And they would have some people on there that were black players, but because they're mostly focused on how the style was in 1942, how the people talked in 1942, and how during that time it was also slasher movies, they just ignored anything about being black.
Yeah, I mean, like, what I would really want is something that's like you have a black main character, any story, but have it just be about the story and not him being black. Like that's what I think representation should be. It shouldn't be we have a black character, he goes through all these racial hardships every movie, every show.
Yeah, and that's what I was speaking to as well. We get it.
Yeah.
There should be some, yes, but
not
it
all.
shouldn't be all we see, because then it gives the white folks who also watch this shit a view that,
But
That
we
they
don't
think that
want
we
them to
all
have.
go through all
No,
this.
we do. They should know that for sure. We do. They should know about the struggle for sure. We want them to know that. But you have those ignorant ass white folks
Right.
who really think like we go crazy over fried chicken and shit like that because
I'm not even saying that.
We
I'm
go-
saying, like, on top of that, I just not even also the stereotype where if these television shows are showing daily or like in every other episode, oh, this person doesn't have a mom, oh, this person is living in a dump, or this and that, just like portraying like shit that not every
Right.
black person goes through. So those ignorant white people will probably think, oh, they don't have a mom, or oh, because
But no, still, I mean, you're saying the same thing.
Yeah.
I'm saying that
Yeah.
it just, kind of have them have prejudgments sometimes that a lot of us don't really experience, but some of us do experience. But then it kind of gives us this, like this, not false image, but like I said, I guess prejudgment would be the best word.
It's stereotypes.
Yeah, because
You don't have
if they see, a lot of white people get portrayed as these, oblivious, race to us, and they come try to touch our hair in every movie, and we treat them and all of that, white people still gonna want to do it. Definitely. It's just they not gonna, say nothing and nothing like that, but they still gonna congregate about it behind, scenes and shit like that. And I mean, it's gonna come out, I get it.
I think it like also creates like this white guilt like type of thing where they feel guilty and then want to go over the top with stuff. And like that's how I feel when they add like black characters into their shows. And then just other characters, who aren't black, just different races. Like they try to they want you to feel like they're on your side, even though that they might not even truly believe it. They just want you to think it. So they'll go with the most over the top, stereotypical thing that portrays you, and then like, hey, look, we put you in this. You know, we want representation. This is how we want to show it.
Yeah, most of the time, media and consumers, especially for television and broadcasting, they do this thing where they go and they jump through the follower loop. Like, they jump through that. So, like,
Yeah.
if during the civil rights movement, you know that a lot of black people are getting TVs or wanting to watch more stuff about them, or again, like, civil rights is going on, so you want more viewers to come to your channel, you're going to start making shows that include these black people, whether first they start out being bad and stereotypical and everything, they'll start meshing into, oh, we're going to make this a show that a lot of maybe like black moms can connect to, like, for example, a television show I told you guys about, Julia.
Yeah.
That show was about a black mom that had one son, I believe in New York, and she, I think, was a nurse. I'm not 100% sure, but she got her own job in some type of business where they believed like, oh, you're just like a black woman, you don't know what you're doing, but she went to college and everything. And throughout the episodes, like, they show different hardships that she goes through being a single mom, raising a black son during that time period. So, like, not only is she being shown, like, hey, like, she's a black woman that can do it all, quote unquote, like, during that time, but it also shows, like, hardship still in the black community of the fact that she is a single mother, having to raise her own son, and being a black woman, having maybe to even protect herself in the society amongst her.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Like, I believe Superman would still be Superman if he was black.
Yeah.
In a sense, by like, it doesn't have to always be about race. You can just make a story that has a black person in it. Like, I get it if it's like something historical, that take place in like ancient Rome or some shit. Like, I get that, right? You shouldn't have, a black general, a Roman black general, because those didn't exist.
Okay, but what about, like, let's say movies like The Mummy? Like, all the movies that took place in Egypt and they were light-skinned people or white people, they should have been black.
Yeah, like, no, I agree in
Why?
the sense of like gods of Egypt.
Because mostly in history it shows, and in artistry it shows, like, that these people were.
I feel like the background characters should have been black, but the main characters should have been white, just because the thing behind some of the mummies, they was poachers stealing, and that's white people's thing. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, sure, yeah,
You
but like,
feel me? They was not there stealing gold.
but
and
like,
all that.
that's just not to like hurt our name a little bit more, but other than that, they're definitely
No, but like, so
supposed to
it's
be
this game
darker
called
complexion.
you guys heard of Assassin's Creed, right?
Yeah.
So one of the installments was Assassin's Creed's origin, and they go back to Egypt, and the main character, he's a magi, he's a Nubian like guard or whatever. He's supposed to protect the pharaoh and shit like that. But like he's probably like my complexion, but they show him in that light. Like, they don't. It's not this perception of him, being black, but they show him in a perception that makes sense of where he's from. You know what I mean? Like, it's not about him being black in quote sense,
Right.
or being African. It's about just being him in the story. And he looks like that because he's in ancient Egypt.
Right.
So that's what I mean by that. And it's like what you were saying, like with the Mummy, like a bunch of white characters. But those those white characters, I think the Mummy, he was like, he was kind of tannish, something like that.
Dude was pure white.
They had the tint of tan because the
they
sun
had like the,
burning them up. Okay, because they've been in
I want
Egypt
everybody.
forever.
I want everybody watching this to look up the Mummy cast
Please
after,
look up
and look
The
up the main character. Dude is pure white.
but he was painted. He was painted. I think he was like lightly
Never.
painted in the movie, something like that. But like, he didn't look completely white. like the main characters like that were like going through the tombs and shit were white, but
Except
They
for
just-
the Arabians.
yeah.
Then there's actually, so also going back to you saying like how Superman could still be Superman if he was black. Remember how J.K. Rowling came out with
So just like I told y'all to do, yeah, I'm cutting her off. Just like I told y'all to do at home,
he
I did
pale. He pale.
it. Go look at the cast of The Mummy.
Brendan Fraser.
Oh, but Brendan Fraser, he was the actual like excavator dude. Where's
Dude was the main poacher down there.
The main poacher.
No, the dude.
Wait. I think I'm
Arnold-
tweaking, y'all. Somebody correct me. Is poaching only the action of stealing animals, or is it?
Yeah, like their tusks and shit.
Okay, got you.
They're grave robbers.
Yeah, there you go. Them grave robbers, Egyptian grave robbers.
The dude, the pharaoh is Arnold Vosloo. However you say his name.
Arnold.
Like
Wilson.
he was the mummy.
He just got some yellow tint in his skin. This man is
No, I'm saying like they made him like tannish in the movie.
Nuh-uh.
Uh-huh.
No, they did not.
I swear to God, they made him.
I think they did.
like just
Barely.
a little bit.
Barely.
No, but say what you were saying.
But no, remember how J.K. Rowling came out with Hermione could have been black?
Who? Say it again.
The heart.
It
Okay,
could have
so
been black. J.K. Rowling.
From Harry
Rowling.
Potter.
Okay, yeah.
Hermione, there was like a whole thing within her fans and everything of them asking her like, hey, like your description in the book of Hermione is curly frizzy hair and just things that you would basically go towards, or like your mind, I guess, would go towards it being a black girl or a girl of color. And she even came out, J.K. Rowling came out when people asked her like, was your character supposed to be this or that? She was like, my character could be either or. She was like, she definitely basically was saying like, yeah, my character, Hermione, could have been black in the movies if they wanted to do that.
Yeah.
But they didn't. But either way, she's stating like she wasn't making in her mind what color these characters would be. It's depended on your own imagination.
Yeah. Especially if you're reading a book. So
Yeah, especially if you're reading a book. But I just thought that was really interesting that even as authors that, you know, because a lot of movies are from books, that they even came out themselves and are like, hey, like this character could have been something other than white. Like,
Yeah.
I think that would have been really cool too to see a black Hermione. I'm just gonna be honest.
For sure. For sure. I mean, I still like my black movies though, you know. Friday after
Fridays.
next Friday.
But the funny thing about like Friday,
Half Baked.
it's comedy. Like it's comedy, but it's
High
not
school.
like it's what?
She said high school. I don't think I've seen that one. What's
High
up?
School
See high
Musical?
school?
No, not this nigga said he ain't never seen high school either. He talking about high school. Is it
I
on
think-
Netflix?
I think it's the one now that has Kevin Hart in it. No,
Nope.
that's
Night School.
that's Night School. But there's no, the one that has Wiz Khalifa and Snoop Dogg.
How high? Is that
Yes.
Mac and Devin go to high school.
Mac and Devin go to high school. Yes.
She talking about some high school. I'm surely like,
Yeah,
I ain't
and then
never
there's
seen
How
high school.
High and How High too.
Yeah.
Half Baked. Don't forget about that with Dave Chappelle, bro. He hilarious.
Dave
The
Chappelle,
Chappelle show.
Dave Chappelle the GOAT, bro.
Chappelle show goes down in history, bro. Hey,
Somebody tried to argue and was like Key and Peele was better, bro. I'm like, bro,
No.
you don't understand, bro. How
We still
fucking
love you, but
funny
no.
Dave Chappelle.
Key and
show
Peele,
was.
dope. Don't get me wrong.
I love
With
their
Dave
movie
Chappelle.
though with the about the cat. The can was it can
Keanu.
Keanu.
Yeah.
That movie was funny as
Keanu or
hell.
Keanu, whatever.
But
it
bro,
was.
that Charlie Murphy shit with Rick James and Prince, bro.
The fact that it was a true story, though, that's what made Dave Chappelle different from Key and Peele right now. I mean, yeah, don't get me wrong. Like we said, they got it. Or who is it, Peele or is it Key? He
Peele.
got, well, whoever it is, he got it on the movie side. But Dave Chappelle on that show, the fact that he was able to reenact what Rick James did to Charlie Murphy's couch,
That shit.
I don't know.
And bro,
about
you
that.
don't know about that?
I don't know
Oh,
about
man,
that.
you got to watch the show.
And bro, also,
You
bro,
gotta watch the Chappelle show. That's all I'm gonna say. Funny as
I
hell.
forgot what the dude's name was. The black dude who thought he was white.
Daylight.
What's the daylight?
You talking about he got a white personality or not?
No, but like he was racist. Like he's
So he
black
was
and he's
an Uncle
blind.
Ruckus.
Clayton Bigsby.
Yeah.
You talking about the
Funny
Dave
as
Chappelle
hell,
show,
bro.
Hey,
You never
that's my
seen that?
shit.
Mickey, you never seen that?
No, I need to go
you
back.
gotta
Hey,
watch
Clayton
it.
Bigsby was funny as hell.
That was, bro.
The man's was blind. He was a
Blind.
blind. So it was Dave Chappelle acting. It was a skit. Dave Chappelle was acting to be a racist white supremacist, but he was black. But he didn't know he was black because he was white. So he found out he was black. They said the man divorced his wife. They asked him why did he do it. He said because she was a nigga lover.
You gotta watch it.
Dave
You gotta-
Chappelle is stupid. Y'all have to watch that shit. He is.
That's a shame.
It's like in today's society, yes, it's like, oh, it's offensive, but it's comedy and it's old comedy.
Man,
You know,
fuck that offensive
Yeah, a
shit,
lot
man.
of old comedy was definitely like very racist.
And it was better though.
It was better, but it was very racist.
society wasn't better though.
Yeah, not at all.
Listen,
Not at all.
So
I want-
you taking wins and your losses.
I want unrestricted
Yeah.
comedy, bro. Because the thing about it is like it will weed itself out regardless. 'Cause
What's
people-
that?
Like when you're saying, we were saying like comedy's racist. Like it'll weed itself out regardless because people would just stop listening to it. It's like, I really don't want to listen to this. So the comic wouldn't be doing the same routine that he normally does. It's all up to
I get what you're saying.
to the person.
You wouldn't
listening.
react the same
Yeah, it's all
to
up to
that
the person
shit now.
listening. Yeah.
I feel you on that. And that's why Dave Chappelle, kind of was controversial when he made his return because a majority of his topics.
Yeah, he was saying some wild shit.
Yeah, he
And it was
targeted
funny.
the gay people, and it kind of
Yeah.
drove them crazy. And I mean, as a comedian, it's like that was his approach back in, and he took the all publicity as good publicity standpoint. He knew that would give him a lot of eyes because it'd be highly controversial, and his fans, who were his fans, would still find it funny. So he'd have a audience to defend him. It was like the perfect, theme to pick,
Yeah.
honestly.
And that's kind of the same with a lot of cartoon shows too, like The Simpsons and South Park and Family Guy.
I
Oh.
love South Park, bro.
Speaking about that, fun fact for y'all who don't know, SpongeBob movie, the entire plot is based off the Greek Odyssey. Look it up.
What?
The movie of SpongeBob, when he went on that journey, that's based off Odyssey. And when they went on that voyage and like a lot of shit happened back at home while they were gone, and they had to come back and restore all of that. Look it up. I don't know like the full details because it was a long time when I learned it. It's been a while, but it's facts.
Nah, that makes sense though. I'm thinking about that shit right now.
When you really think about it, bro, think about everything like this. If you know the two stories, think about how they could line up. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
And it'll, make sense.
yeah.
What's another show? You know what was a great show, but it was controversial in its time? Boondocks.
I love Boondocks.
That was my shit. I don't like what they did to the Boondocks though,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
like the last season was.
I'm gonna have to.
Because the
review it
dude,
again.
the creator, he wasn't the one writing the show. It was somebody else doing it.
Gotcha. The last season was like it went downhill. One episode they reenacted Breaking Bad. One episode they just went bankrupt and they had to sell their house to like absolutely everything to the bank, and he was like a slave, like living out his garage. Like it was just some wild shit. The
Like
show
it just
took a while.
wasn't funny.
Yeah, it
Like,
just
was
took a
like-
turn
It was
for the
just
worse.
depressing.
Yeah, just like I don't know, it was some other shit.
I feel like certain shows, if your last season is good, probably just leave it alone, bro.
Honestly,
Like unless the original creator is doing it.
Boondocks had a lot of potential.
like
It
now
could
we're
have
going a
followed
little
up.
off, but
Bro-
hey, like if we're gonna say that, recently a show that I can say that they should have stopped making it after the first or second season would be 13 Reasons Why.
I never got into it.
Me neither.
Y'all suck. But basically, it just became trash. Like, people that do, if y'all do, I really hope y'all do. But, like, people that do or have watched the first season of 13 Reasons Why, and if y'all ever went to any other seasons, you'll just know what I'm talking about. Like, it just gets more trash because they make, you know, like, when a season starts or a show starts and the first season, they want to make it good as hell. So they're going to put, kind of in a sense, like, as much as they can in there. But then when they do that, like, what are you going to show the next season? And then that's when kind of, like, people start throwing in either the good shit that they know or they start throwing in brain farts. And it just starts going downhill from there.
Isn't that what happened in, like, Empire?
Yeah, that's exactly
Well, wasn't
what
somebody like a cannibal on that show or some shit?
I don't remember anybody being cannibal
Bro, I
in
swear
the
to
show.
God, I heard somebody was like, they were eating people in like season 2.
No,
Not
no,
season
no,
2,
no.
but like episode 2. I don't know what happened, but there was like, everything was just
No.
over the top.
I will say though, like, Empire definitely was getting weird because, you know, like, then they started getting that meshy weird shit where, like, the son was fucking the assistant and so was the dad, and it was just too much.
I couldn't get into Empire neither, just because early on it was really kind of cheesy, you know. And at the time, Power was still on TV, so
I never watched Power. I never watched Empire.
Power
I never
was a
watched
really
Power.
good show.
I was forced to watch Power.
Yeah, we did watch Power a lot. We ain't
It
forced you. Who forced you?
Who forced me?
Yeah, you said you was forced.
Yeah, I was forced.
By
I
who?
mean, not by people, but like.
Oh, because
I mean,
of
like,
everybody around you?
Yeah, because everybody
Yeah, I got
around
you,
me
I
would
got
be
you.
watching it, and they're like,
Yeah.
and I'll be like, "What's this? Power?" I'm like, oh, "Here we
Yeah.
go again." Then you just gotta watch it. Then you addicted. Then you want
I
to
watch
watch it.
anime, so I don't really watch.
I really like the reason I like Power is because the main character in it, basically he was a 2-part kingpin and then club owner. But he started as a foot soldier, and the reason why I really like that show is because that's how a lot of trappers start. You start at the low level and you're supposed to work your way to the top. And like, I'm not saying sell cocaine, not drugs.
But if you,
It's
but
just
if you
the
have
action.
to, if you
It's
have
the
to.
actions that, you know, the using
Being
your
an
money,
entrepreneur.
using your money to buy a product in whole, and then selling out that product piece by piece, and taking in all what you earn from selling it, and you see profit and principle of what you put in, and then you do it again. That's what hustling is. That's real hustling, and that's the point of like his like position in Power. He did that so much to where he was at the top of both the club empire and the dope game.